I think a lot of people, when they're like, I'm ready to get a manager, what they really mean is I'm ready to take my writing seriously. And that doesn't mean you're ready for a manager.
What would you say to those unsigned writers that are out there that are looking up and trying to figure out, what's the sage advice that you have um, to help them get to that next level? You've read a lot of scripts. I'm sure you only sign a fraction of them. Um, how do they get to that fraction?
Keep writing. Um, I think so. I think two things in terms of your talent, just keep writing. Have a writers group, share your material with close friends, get reads, read scripts, just perfect your craft, right? Get better. Don't focus on just one script. Have a little bit of a portfolio, work on some other stuff, come back to that first script if you want to come back to it after a period of time. Um, I think I was saying this to someone also this week where it was like, I think a lot of people, when they're like, I'm ready to get a manager, I think what they really mean is I'm ready to take my writing seriously. And that doesn't mean you're ready for a manager. Um, that means like I'm gonna take like this is what I want to do. This is my craft. This is what I want to do as a career. And I'm gonna put a lot more emphasis and energy and resources to make that happen. And that might be joining a writers group, doing a class, doing these things that is going to, really improve your craft so that when everyone in your writers group is going, this script is so good, like this needs to be made, you need to get out there, or your friends or anyone that really knows what they're talking about. That's probably the time to start getting some reads from managers to see what happens. But it's not just like I want to be a writer now and do this seriously. That's like, all right, first step, get a manager. Because getting a manager is like, I'm not training people. That's not my job. My job is to take someone who has talent, perfect their, polish up their script, and then get it out there, and then work with you on kind of navigating all of that. So I think that's kind of in terms of like your craft. I think on the other side, in terms of what can you do to try to make that happen, and what I always say is just meet as many people as you can. Laterally network with other writers. Use your school you went to, your hometown, anything that is um, a special connection to anyone. If you were part of a fraternity or the Girl Scouts or whatever, if you can find people who have that similar background, they're going to be more likely to read your script, meet with you, do whatever. And focus maybe a little less on the level and just more of someone who's in the middle of it. So like I'll read if I don't take unsolicited submissions, but like I take every referral that happens. So my former interns, friends, you know, the guy who owns Quiznos kid that my dad goes to. That was one of my favorite ones. He was like, my dad's like, the owner of the Quiznos daughter is like an actress or something. He's like, will you meet with her? I'm like, you better get free Quiznos off of this. Just try to meet people, right? Meeting assistants. Like if, they're going to be more willing to, meet with you because they're still expanding their network and they're new in the industry, and they'll probably want to read your stuff. And if it's good, they're gonna be incentivized to share it because it looks good for them to share a piece of material that is really good. So it's you're going to be more likely to meet with them, and if they like your stuff, they'll pass it to someone who is at a production company, or if it's their boss, or they have a friend who works at a management company, and we share that material all the time because a good script has value. And if you have something of value, that helps you in your career. So let those people do the work for you, um, rather than just cold emailing like that. That's kind of like do that too, I guess, especially if like you see on Twitter or whatever that people have their DMs open, they're willing to, you know, pay attention to query letters. But I think it's better. That's usually a last resort. It's more likely, or my recommendation is always find a way to just meet more people. Whether it's a hustling producer, an assistant, an intern, whatever. If you can just start meeting people and build your connection, your network that way, I think that will be payoff.
No, I think that's fantastic advice because while you were saying that, I was thinking back to like how some of my scripts have sold, or I had an agent for a while years ago, and that person was referred by somebody else who had read one of my scripts, and you should check this person out. And they did, and that's how I got signed. Same thing with my first script sale. I showed it to one person who happened to be working on a film set, and one of the people they've become comfortable with said, "You wouldn't happen to know anybody that could write a movie about being Indian in America, do you?" I mean, like, what are the odds of that
Yeah.
question being asked right after he read my script? And the next thing I know, I've written a movie, Cal Penn's in, and things are moving forward. And so, you're right. It's about connecting. It's about doing the work, and it's about connecting. And um, if you got the right script, it's going to find its way.